Okay, cool. Hello, I'm Ben. Benjamin, I said this already. I'm going to give a really kind of broad overlook and overview, an introduction to game development tools, just so people can start making stuff and just be more aware of things. I think Duncan's stuff will be much cooler, because you'll actually get into learning how to do actual things. But I think it's really important to know what's out there, and what you can do and what you can't do and all that sort of stuff. Cool. So, let's start. Well, hold on. How many people in this room have never made a game? Ever? Yes. So that's awesome. Like, hopefully after this, you'll feel slightly less sort of apprehensive and scared and petrified. Because making games is hard, but it's also really easy if you use the right method. Cool. So the really pivotal thing, and I've sort of got this basic point after a year and a half of being on this forum and hearing the same argument, same discussion always happen, is you need to ask yourself what exactly you want to do. And it's really hard. Like, what do I want to be the guy who tells that guy what to do, like the producer? Do I want to be responsible for the actual gameplay? Do I want to be the guy who's responsible for the texture on the eyes of Super Mario realistic remake? You need to ask yourself so specifically what you want to do in game development. Because once you know that, you can look at what you're doing, either professionally or as a hobbyist, and always refer back to whether that's helping you become a better version of what you want to become. So if you want to be a game designer, make games. If you want to be a coder, code a lot of things. Like, a lot of people will tell you, always make games. And that's not always true, to always make games, because if you're not that interested in just making games, then you shouldn't just be making games. If you want to be someone who does sound and music in games, you shouldn't just be making games, you should be making sound and music games. Like, this makes sense, but a lot of people miss out on this. So refer back and ask yourself what you want to do, and then always keep trying to do that, and cause mischief. So this is sort of an overview of what I'm planning to do. The really important part is the mindset. Then we're going to be game making, Unity, interactive fiction, which is really cool. Sound, music, art, and analog games. The big preface, two big prefaces. Argue with me, please. All the experienced people, tell me where I'm wrong. Like, same sort of fashion as I'm in. It's a discussion, because there's never any right answer really to these things. There's always going to be a different way to do things. So if you disagree with me vehemently, please voice your opinion so other people can hear.
I disagree with your spelling of fiction.
Even I can see it through.
Interactive.
Although it is quite fictional.
You're a writer, right? Yep. I write, guys, I don't spell. So this is like, for me, this is the most pivotally important thing when making games, is you have to get into a mindset which is so utterly different from the rest of your life, basically. For me, society is completely different. Most of society is completely different to how you need to learn to make games. Like, that's a really big statement, and I could spell some horribly big words to tell you why I believe that, but I'll be really reductionistic. So you fail hard, you fail often, and then show people your failures, because that's the only way you can do it. If you become comfortable failing and failing a lot, you'll do things and you'll take risks, and that's the only way you can find your good game ideas. People don't make good games. There's no such person as a good person that makes good games. It sounds weird, but people make a lot of crappy games, and then they make good games. And then they find, of their 100 ideas, the one that's beautiful and perfect. I don't know how many people know Flambia. They made Ridiculous Fishing, Super Crate Box. The guy who comes up with the ideas, they prototypes and is really responsible for a lot of their cool stuff they do, JW. He made 300 prototypes in a year. And at the end of that, he had a Super Crate Box. That's it. Guys, make a lot of games and choose the best one. Be comfortable with failing, because only when you're comfortable with failing will you find something that's good. Make a lot of crappy stuff. I still haven't made anything that's good yet.
Truck Simulator.
It's coming. But so be comfortable with failing, fail often, and show people your failures, because they'll be able to say that part of your failure is really cool. This part really, really fails badly, so don't ever do that again. It's horrible. Be comfortable with critique. It's hard, but people shout at me for spelling badly. I'm comfortable with that.
Ben?
Yes.
I don't think that's limited to games.
Yes.
I actually think if you look back to even Thomas Edison when he was trying to make a light bulb, they asked him, the reporter was trying to slander him and said, okay, you've tried this, how many times? He says, 1,000 times. He says, well, you failed 1,000 times. And Thomas Edison actually looked at his face and says, no, I know 1,000 ways not to make a light bulb. Haven't failed once. This is not limited to this form. I think, however, failing at swimming and skydiving are not necessarily a good idea. But for a lot of things, it's a plus.
If you fail first, skydiving is not for you.
No.
Yes.
How do you ask?
Oh.
How many concepts do you have to do before it gets approved?
Millions.
All concepts.
Millions.
You only have to do
Trillions.
an art. It's exactly the same with a concept. Otherwise, you're building a turd. You're not getting anything done.
But like, no one knows this. I don't know how it happened. I was raised for 18 years of my life, never knowing this stuff. It's
what?
I know. Yeah. Okay. Let's get on to this. This is a huge tangent. But
You haven't seen any movies about this. That's
fell hard, fell often. Think of game when you like don't overthink your designs. Get into a mindset of failing hard, trying stuff that's fun. Especially if you're focusing on making things that are fun, don't overthink for fun. Just try and make something that you think might be cool. Damn it, Julian.
Making games is a lot like playing games in that you're going to die many times until you actually eventually succeed.
Something that I learned that's actually been very hard to deal with is getting rid of instant gratification. That's what our society is based on. You know, the superhero knows nothing. He sleeps one night, has a couple of training parts, and all of a sudden he defeats the enemy. So
It's amazing what you do in a montage.
So I think the thing is, it's not focusing on this instant gratification. There was an artist that actually, Japanese artist, that said he doesn't make art to see the end result. He makes art because of the process that he enjoys. The end result is merely just other people seeing what he enjoyed doing at the end of the day.
I like the premise of the argument, but I think it's problematic because in a way you are going for instant gratification because you want to make your game as quickly as possible to get it to someone to be playable. But at the same time, enjoy the process because the process is where you learn stuff. So that's, yeah.
But these are two philosophies that are not necessarily contradictory, and I don't think they don't work for different people either.
It's balance. You need balance. You just need balance.
Bring balance.
You should start a religion.
It is enough.
Yes.
Well, on the very last part of that one, and then show people your failures, I think that's something that's particularly important.
Yeah.
Even like a lot of people they have this thing of being ashamed, and it's very difficult to overcome that. This is why I try and do talks sometimes, because I know the large majority of my talks are really shit, really boring, and I don't really know what I'm talking about. But the fact that I showed people I can stand and do the talk, the experience that you get from that is more than the experience you'd get otherwise by not showing it. So you could have tried it, right? But you didn't show anyone that you tried, you wouldn't have gotten that valuable feedback.
That's what I was about to point out. It's not just about what you did
Guys,
well.
it's slightly off topic, but if you guys want to exercise, because what that show people your failures, we're all very critical of critique. We don't want people to say, oh, shit, you stuffed up there. For some reason, it takes us down. But here's an exercise. Go to a coffee shop, buy a cup of coffee, and ask them for a 10% discount. Seriously, go through. You're going to get 100 no's. And one day, somebody's going to say, okay, no. Play rock, paper, scissors with me and you'll get your 10% discount. And it's just a way of training. Well, lizard Spock as well, but they're going to get that one. Rock, paper, scissors, lizard Spock. Nobody gets that. Just give it a try. It's cool.
That's a really cool idea. That's like a really cool game developer thing to do. That's something a game developer do. If you want to look like a game developer, go do that.
The amount of coffee at lunch.
Yes. Yes, it is. True. Yes,
Anyway.
if you're not on the forums, this is where I say get on the forums because like we're the people who play your like kind of crappy games and we're like, wow, that's actually pretty cool, that one thing there. Because that's what we like to do. We like to break things and show, we like to talk to people and we like to show people how they can get better. That's what we do. Community. That's the word it means. Kind of, I can't spell it but yes.
Just on that last point, don't worry if it's not ready. I think that's another thing linking back to just art in general and creativity in general. It will never be ready. Please, it will never, ever be done. So you have to let it go, give birth to it, and let it out into the world, and let other people experience. But I'm serious, because so many people are like, oh, I just want to fix this, this, and this, and then they look at it and they're, oh, but it will never be perfect. It will never be how it's supposed to be in your head.
Like, yeah, so I'm sure a lot of people are saying, what is playable, when is it ready? Okay, so how you should be making games? You should be making a toy, something that's fun. So Angry Birds is flinging stuff across the screen. That immediately felt fun. As soon as you can beat a level, as soon as there's an end goal, it's playable. It becomes a game when you have an end goal. Before it's a toy. As soon as it's a game, send it out.
You can still show people toys.
Still show people toys. But we can argue about that.
Why? What's wrong with toys?
Minecraft is still a toy.
Huh?
Minecraft is still a toy.
It has to be a game though. Let's look into this. Because I'll win and I'll spell it out. Okay, so now we part the really hard part. Because for me, this is the hardest part of the game though, really. Really getting to the skills stuff is kind of easier. Like, I promise you, there are a lot of really, really talented people in the games industry which will never make good games because they don't have the mindset right. If you get the mindset right, you can pretty much, like, everything will come afterwards. Seriously, that's how I see it. This is why we're discussing it. Someone told me I'm wrong. No? Okay, no chance. Good for you. This is Game Maker. Game Maker is where I started, which is pretty cool. It's a really cool place to start because you don't even need to code. Like, no one actually... Wait, okay, you don't even have to code. It's literally drag and drop. I'm going to show you now. You can make a game without ever seeing a line of code. It's like, it's magical. I don't know what, it's like black magic. There's something happening there. If you don't believe in God, once you use Game Maker and you have game, you'll believe that. It's really cool because you can export to multiple platforms. Android, iOS, PC, Tizen, whatever that is. It's really fast and efficient for creating prototypes. The Desktop Dungeons guy, Rodanger, he makes his games still in Game Maker 7. That's 2 versions.
I have one here.
Yeah. There's a game back there from a really cool game developer at the end. Stop interrupting me, so, Flambeer as well, the guy mentioned in prototypes, they use Game Maker 7 as well. 6. Guys, it was made like 2005. It's because studios cracked it. Yeah, studios cracked it, we'll get to that. So yeah, make game. This tool is, a lot of people say you'll never be able to make anything in this tool, and they're wrong. Because a lot of really successful, really famous, really popular games are made in Game Maker, and they're amazing. Because you can so quickly create things. So, yes. Although it breaks a lot. Jeez. Okay. And the only problem, like this is a con for me, the free version is really restricted. Like for me,
Many of studios stick with 8 if you want.
8 is still restrictive. It's still 59.
Not as much as
But it's free.
Yeah, very done. Okay. So this is a really cool way to start making games and get into it and see how easy it is to make games and fail a lot. You can make a lot with what the free version gives you. So use the free version. Let me show what Game Maker looks like. Does anyone not know what it looks like inside Game Maker? Does anyone here want to be inside Game Maker? Yes, that's true. He's going to show you Game Maker later. I don't need to show you that. I'll show you Unity. Okay, now on to Unity. Unity is amazingly prolific. I don't actually know how they do it. I think they started, what? I don't know, 2007, 2000 something. They were like, there's a conversation Rami told us when he was at Myres about how the head of Unity said he wanted to make a game tool that everyone used. And the guy who was talking, he was like, dude, you crazy. And now it's 2013 and pretty much like the entire universe uses Unity. A lot of people use Unity, so there's a lot of support for it. If you play a mobile game, you'll see powered by Unity a lot because it's very powerful. It has a wider variety of exports than Game Maker. Like you can go to PS Vita, Xbox One's coming, all the consoles, like eventually you can just do that stuff.
Don't assume you're going to be able to do those.
Yes, yeah. That's a
different conversation.
Don't start thinking about Xbox One yet, guys. It's got a really, like, I came from Game Maker into Unity, and I was like, wow, this UI is amazing. That's kind of because Game Maker's UI is not that great, but I think Unity's UI is incredible. You can customize it, you can put it to how you want it to be, you can drag and drop things all over the place. It's really friendly and really, really intuitive. Even if it breaks a lot. I don't know why it breaks. For me it breaks. The free version is silly powerful. like they are giving you a license to print money. You can do the iOS and Android version, I think, is free. So you can export to iOS and Android for free from Unity. You can literally go make money off this game without like paying anything. Unity's pretty amazing. It's the problem with it is it is like a really sort of mid to high level tool. It's hard to break in if you don't have experience with coding. Like you don't know, you can't get that far. You can do some stuff, but it's really tricky because you need either a JavaScript boo, still no idea what that is, or C#. Yes, more questions.
There is actually a plugin in Unity that will
Really? Yes.
drag and drop style.
That's actually a good point. There's a plugin for everything in Unity. Seriously, they use Unity for amazing things because it's so customizable. You can write extensions, you can customize the actual UI of Unity in the code. It's really, really cool. So if you're looking for something really powerful and you have experience, I'd recommend Unity.
I was going to say exactly that.
Okay, cool.
There's another distinction that's worth mentioning.
Yes.
In terms of, I'm not trying to start a flame war. Like,
Oh,
if you want to do a 3D game, this is definitely the better platform. If you want to do a 2D game, GameMaker is definitely the better platform.
Sorry, that's a very big thing I missed out. Sorry. Yeah, GameMaker only does 2D. If you're doing 3D in GameMaker, it does do. I'm getting there. If you're doing 3D in GameMaker, Jesus, we can't help you. We can't. The mindset thing. Seriously, guys. Yeah, use Unity for 3D. 2D is coming. It's like the Messiah. It's magical. I'm just hovering down from the sky on the wings of Unity. Yes.
No, I'll just reiterate that because I'm busy making a 2D game in Unity and I'm spending more time getting shit to work in 2D than actually just making the game because I have to restrict an entire dimension. So until Unity 2D comes, just use GameMaker for 2D.
Well, actually, some of that, I find it easier to make 2D games in Unity than this.
Oh, I mean, so you read from right to left, dude. Okay. Yeah. So if you want to make 2D games, use GameMaker. It is like a lot of people don't know the games they made in GameMaker. So let me tell you, Blazing Aces, which is awesome. ZX. These are just side games. Then there's Hotline Miami. There's Gunpoint. There's Spelunky. The early versions.
You know what's Ben? You know what's ironic? After saying that, I just realized that I did build a 2D game in
GameMaker. In Unity. Yeah.
You're a victim of your own fame.
If you're listening to Travis, he's crazy. But yeah, Unity is a really cool tool. There's a lot of support for it. Between Unity and GameMaker, this is probably the most support you'll get on our forums. So here's another preface. There are a billion other tools you can use, literally. Construct 2 is really cool. Construct is a really cool alternative to GameMaker. I haven't used it myself, but a lot of people are like, it's crazy good. And I'm like, no. But yeah, there's a lot of, like this UDK, I mean, we have the guys who made Viscera Clean Detail, if you don't know about that. They made their stuff in UDK.
Unreal.
Yes.
That is usually
That's
that's
usually Unreal Development, yeah, engine, sorry. Game speak. It's basically, what game was made in UDK?
Unreal. I teach that as well.
Everything.
Well, it's like Borderlands.
Like, big AAA games are made in UDK and you can use it. Yes, Anti-Chamber. So there are so many tools you can use, but GameMaker and Unity are really probably the best options just because you can do so much with them and you get so much support. Away from those tools. Interactive fiction. I'm crazy into interactive fiction. This probably doesn't even deserve a slide because it's so niche. But it's, for me, it's a really cool way to get you thinking about how players interact with things. Yes, okay, hold on. Okay, we're going to change things.